Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan, and I'm joined by the colleagues.
Ted?
Dave.
we had a standoff there. So, which is apropos as we're going to do a little video talking about player tips, fairness, and fair play in your RPGs.
And for now, it just isn't.
Yeah.
Because the dice are not going to be fair to you. You know it.
I don't think that's what we're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Them goddamn cheaters. Is someone at your table cheating?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, as Mark says, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That's true.
Yeah.
And, you know, a funny anecdote on that is...
Antidote.
Yes, an antidote. The cure.
The poison.
Anecdote.
Yeah.
Anecdote. Yo, on that story is, Mark would always come to the table with really good stats. So I went to his house one day, and I'm like, you're going to roll them in front of me.
And he rolled even better.
And he rolled even better stats. I was like, you suck, goddammit.
Yeah.
I think his dice are just weighted.
Just loaded dice.
Yeah.
Filed off the corners or whatever. That's like also Anthony Amato of Cardboard Fortress posted that article about how the way to check to see if your dice are accurate kind of thing. Because some dice, like if you have dice that are your lucky dice, they're probably just off.
Yeah, off in a good way.
Yeah, off in an
So if you have lucky dice that roll well, you probably don't want to check them.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of dice that are cursed and probably are off the other way.
Yeah, I mean mine do a pretty good spread. Like they don't roll the middle range very often. Like my go-to dice, they either roll like 1 through 5 or like 12 plus. So it's
Well, your dice like you when you DM, but they don't like you when you play.
Well, they do better when I DM, for some odd reason.
I don't know whether it's you're rolling more dice.
No, that's probably it. I'm just rolling more dice, so the misses don't matter as much. So when I do roll well, it's usually I'm critting,
Right.
and you guys are like, God damn it, another crit. Which
three
is fine.
crits in a row or whatever.
Yeah, or it seems that way.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's, it just happened to get to that one player for the third time in a row. Be like, oh, I don't know, my dice hate you.
I mean, maybe I'm just picking up this die and setting it on 20. Maybe that's how it goes.
But so I guess what we're talking about, though, too, is like, what do you do about the players that you don't think... And I've had other people ask this question in the comments. It's like, what do you do about players who basically cheat?
Yeah. Like, how much do you want to do I'm going to observe this person's die rolls? Like, or they have to... And if you're singling that person out, because they probably are the one cheater in the group, you kind of, to be diplomatic, you kind of have to do the across the board, I'm going to witness everyone's die rolls. Because once you single that person out, well, if you like being friends with this person, well, then that's going to be an issue there, too.
Or do you just kind of, like, penalize them in the game? Be like, give them the extra attacks? I'll be like, although, I mean, it would be a little bit more difficult for me because I roll my dice out front. But, what if you just give it back to them?
Right.
Be like, do you do that route? But that feels kind of like vindictive and dickish.
Childish, basically.
So your options are, confront them off to the side, and say, look, this is my suspects, or this is what I've witnessed. You could do the blanket thing of, I want to see the dice rolled out in front of everybody.
The very sort of passive aggressive, if you send this general communication of, all right, everyone's going to do this thing, or, kind of deal.
Or, you could even do, if you have a dice tray like this, be like, all right, I put this on the center of the table. This is where all the dice go.
Yeah.
But if you're rolling, you roll it here. And then you're not really singling anyone out. And you kind of have a way of witnessing all the rolls. Again, it feels kind of weak too.
Yeah. And then as you were saying, the other option, is to, kind of behind the screen it. And, if you suspect, or if you know that a player is cheating, of just, turning around and have them, in-game penalized, have monsters target them, and this will, whatever.
You could always kick them out of your game, but that's like, well, I mean, are you friends with this person? Does it bother you really that much?
And that's the other side. You could just basically ignore it. You guys are playing a game, and is... an extra hit or an occasional extra crit really that big a deal? Is it hurting the experience? Is it hurting the rest of the group? These are the factors you have to weigh. Ultimately, as a DM, it's your call how you're going to handle things.
Well, here's the other thing, too. Like, in the start of your campaign or your game, or even if you have to go back to this, do you have a social contract? Is this something that needs to be included in your social contract about cheating, and how it's felt, how you feel about it, how it's dealt with, which the social contract makes a lot of sense, but it's still weird to me. Because I guess like sometimes
It's too formalized. Is that?
It's very formalized, and when I hear people talk about their gaming experience and how they game with others, it just brings me back to like, who the hell are you gaming with? Like the way they talk about these people, like, because I've always pretty much gamed with people that I've been friends with, or friends of a friend, and if I'm not friends with them, the act of inviting them to my table is basically an extension of friendship.
Right.
In my opinion, like, granted, you may not know each other when you first get started, but in my mind, like, if you're going to come game with me, I'm also going to be saying, okay, I would also like to be friends with you.
Because like typically, at least over the years that we've been gaming together, game night is not always let's just show up, role play, and go home. There is that social atmosphere. People are talking in game, out of game, before game, after
Almost
game.
half the session is like bullshitting around.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be.
Yeah, there's been those days.
So you are developing, a friendship, be it over weeks, over months, over years, whatever have you, because you are inviting them to, your place to game and spending time with them.
So sometimes for me, gaming is basically the social outlet. Like, instead of sitting around playing cards and drinking, we sit around and roll funny shaped dice and role play while we socialize. Like, it's just a thing to do while you socialize. Kind of deal. I mean,
some people would be watching sports and drinking, or whatever.
Yes.
Like, we're active participant in our fantasy sports. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So, so there, and I've run the gamut from being hardcore, we're here to game, to this is like the one night a month I get to go out and hang out with my friends, and this is what we do while we hang out.
We have had at least one occasion where we showed up to game. We were together for like 6 or 7 hours, and like maybe an hour and a half of it actually was devoted to the game. Like,
yes, that can happen as well.
That does happen. Yeah.
So I feel like the social contract is for like if you do like a meetup, or you guys got together in a gaming store, but go bring it back to the player tip. A social contract is a way to kind of like deal with this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, also too, like, if you've ever been that player that cheats, or maybe you still are right now, like, what hero doesn't have setbacks? Like, what hero didn't have a thing where, like, Lord of the Rings, where, like, Frodo, like, falls down a well or whatever. Like, you kind of, there's no tension if you're always going to succeed. Like, so... let the dice
there are times you're gonna have a bad night, because as you said, heroes are not going to always succeed, and unless you're in a game where there is the veritable battle line drawn between you and the DM, it's a story that you're all taking part in. It's a story that you guys are all writing together. Be a part of it, and let the mystery be there.
There's not actually winning D&D. Like, you don't win an RPG.
Well,
you just play it.
And also too, like, going back to the video we're talking about, sort of every die roll is an opportunity to, like, characterize your character. Like, so if you roll poorly, like, you can explain, like, what happened in the course of that miss.
Right.
Like, you slipped on some blood on the floor, or just like the monster ducked just at the right moment, or whatever. And if it's a 1, you slipped, fell, and landed flat on your back, or something like that. Versus, and then the really awesome rolls, you get to describe those too.
Or what if you have a night or several nights of bad dice rolling, right? And your character starts role-playing it as if he's cursed.
Yeah. Like, he picked up a bone from some cemetery, and, like, ever since he did that, this has been the case.
And now your DM can actually turn it to something actually in the game and be like, oh, yeah, you're probably going to need to do something about this.
Yeah, right.
And that's yet again, taking opportunity to use something that's a negative and turn that into a positive. And it's possible that, the DM might say, okay, yes, you got this thing, you can't get rid of it. Now you need to figure out how to get rid of this curse. And once you get rid of it, well, all it was just bad dice rolls. So what kind of benefit might the DM give you?
A new set of dice. Out of game. Yes, a Chessex. Here you go.
Yeah. So you might be able to get some kind of actual mechanical benefit from it. And it might be something minor, or you might not get anything at all. You might just get some really memorable stuff.
You get a designated roller because just some people roll luckier than others.
Yeah.
Like that person from now on, once the curse has been removed, is your designated roller, the DR.
In baseball when you have someone that runs for you.
Yeah, pinch hitter.
Designated runner.
Designated runner. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, sports, whatever.
Sports, sports to sports, and in sports when that person runs for
Does
you.
the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, guys. With that, why don't you let us know what solutions you've come up with? Tell us your worst cheater stories.
Yeah, you can tell us tales of woe for sure.
And while you're at it, like, subscribe, and share.
You can check out Nerdarchy, the store, for all your Nerdarchy swag needs.
Or you can come hang out with us on Facebook.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.